Nonsensical substitutions at all the wrong times. Benchings, leaving Caitlin Clark on the bench too long. Playing shoddy defense.
Guys, it happened. It happened. Lads, the Indiana Fever have fired Christie Sides.
Christie Sides just had a meltdown that would make a toddler blush. Papers flying, words we can't repeat on YouTube, the works. All because she got fired after the Fever's playoff exit. But you know what's even wilder? While Sides was losing it, Caitlin Clark was probably in the gym, working on her game. One chapter closes, another opens. And this new chapter? It's gonna be epic. Picture this. The Indiana Fever, a team that's been struggling for years, starts the 2024 season like they're playing with blindfolds on. 1-8. That's not just bad, that's historically awful. Fans are losing their minds. Everyone's thinking Christie Sides is going to be packing her bags before the All-Star break. But then, something crazy happens. The team starts winning. And not just squeaking by, we're talking dominant performances. They go on a tear, racking up 19 wins in their next 31 games. That's a complete 180 for a team that was basically living in the WNBA's basement. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark. This rookie comes in and starts breaking records like they're made of glass. She's averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not just good, that's future of the league good. And let's not forget about Aliyah Boston. She's in there dominating the paint like a wrecking ball with a jump shot. With all this talent, you'd think Sides would be sitting pretty, right? Wrong. Here's where it gets wild. The Fever make the playoffs for the first time since 2016. That's huge, but instead of celebrating, the front office is already making calls to other coaches. Talk about cold. So why did Christie Sides really get fired? The shocking truth is, it wasn't just about the wins and losses. Insiders are saying Sides' coaching style was more suited for junior high than the WNBA. She was struggling with in-game adjustments and strategic planning.
Christie Sides, I'm going to be honest, feels like a really, really good junior high basketball coach.
Aspects of coaching. She is unfortunately a bad offensive coach, a bad defensive coach, a bad rotations coach.
Can you imagine trying to coach Caitlin Clark like she's still in middle school? But it gets worse. Team morale was all over the place. Players were getting frustrated with Sides' chaotic substitution patterns. She'd be yanking stars off the court at the worst possible moments. There were times when Caitlin Clark was riding the bench during crunch time.
Nonsensical substitutions at all the wrong times. Benchings, leaving Caitlin Clark on the bench too long. Playing shoddy defense.
Was she good at making subs? No. Was she good at seeing what the other teams were doing and game planning for that?
That's like having a Ferrari and leaving it in the garage during a race. Even the Fever's president of basketball operations, Kelly Krauskopf, had to admit it. She said Sides helped them through a transition, but now they need to make bold decisions to chase that championship. Translation: thanks for the playoff appearance, but we need someone who can actually coach at this level. Behind closed doors, it was a mess. Players were grumbling, fans were scratching their heads, and Sides was losing control. You could see the frustration on Caitlin Clark's face every time she got benched in a tight game. It was like watching a star trying to shine through a storm cloud of bad coaching decisions. So yeah, the Fever made the playoffs. But instead of being the crowning achievement for Sides, it ended up being the final nail in her coaching coffin. The front office saw what this team could do with all that talent, and they realized they needed someone who could take them from good to great, someone who could let stars like Clark and Boston really shine, instead of holding them back with junior varsity tactics.
Maybe she could, I'm sure, coach at a lower level, a smaller high school, 2 or 3A maybe.
You think making the playoffs after years of struggles would buy a coach some job security, right? Wrong. The Fever just pulled off the most ice-cold move in WNBA history. But the real question is, did Caitlin Clark's insane rookie stats accidentally expose Sides as the weak link?
So Christie Sides just got fired by the Indiana Fever.
Winning in spite of her. Like they were having to play the opposing team and their own coach at times.
Here's the deal. Sides is out, But the Fever didn't even have the decency to wait until the dust settled. Reports are flying that they were already in talks with other coaches before they gave Sides the boot. That's not just cold, that's Antarctic levels of frosty. It's like they were planning her goodbye party while she was still trying to lead the team. But let's talk about Sides' meltdown for a sec. Word on the street is that when she got the news, her office turned into a war zone. Papers flying everywhere. Words that would make a sailor blush. The whole 9 yards. It was like a scene from a movie, except this was real life.
Guys, it happened! It happened! Lads, the Indiana Fever have fired Christie Sides.
Single-handedly cost the Fever numerous games. I agree. They underachieved.
And Sides' career was going up in flames. So now everyone's wondering, who's gonna step up and lead this powerhouse in the making? Well, a familiar name is popping up, and it's got Fever fans buzzing. Stephanie White, former Fever player and coach, is looking like a strong contender. She's got history with the team. And get this, she's already coached both Clark and Aliyah Boston. Talk about a perfect fit, right? White's got a track record that speaks for itself. We're talking a 59-41 career record, and she even led the Fever to the WNBA Finals back in 2015. That's the kind of experience and success this young team needs. Plus, her familiarity with the organization, that's like having a cheat code for team chemistry. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this what Clark wants? We haven't heard a peep from her on social media about the coaching change, but you better believe her opinion matters. After all, she's the future of this franchise.
Christie Sides just wasn't ready. She was out of her depth, and she did not deserve to keep her job going into next year.
Nonsensical timeouts at all the wrong times. She would stop her own team's run.
Speaking of Clark, let's talk about those rookie numbers again. 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not just Rookie of the Year material, that's future face of the league stuff. But here's the kicker. Did those incredible stats actually expose Sides' coaching flaws? Think about it. If Clark was putting up those numbers with Sides holding her back, imagine what she could do with a coach who really knows how to unleash her potential. The pressure's on for the Fever front office. They can't afford to mess this up. They've got 2 bona fide superstars in Clark and Boston, plus a fan base that's starving for wins after years in the basketball wilderness. This next coaching hire isn't just about next season. It's about setting the course for a potential dynasty.
Christie Sides is the reason why that team had no chance against.
So buckle up, Fever fans. This offseason is going to be a wild ride. Will it be Stephanie White leading the charge? Or will they surprise us all with a dark horse candidate? One thing's for sure. With talent like Clark and Boston on the roster, whoever gets this job is stepping into a goldmine of potential. The WNBA better watch out because the Fever are coming, and they're bringing the heat. The Indiana Fever are about to embark on a wild ride. They've got a superstar duo in Clark and Aliyah Boston, and now they're hunting for a coach who can unlock their full potential. It's like they've been given the keys to a sports car, and they're finally ready to see what this baby can do. With a new coaching staff, Clark could take her game to a whole new level. We're talking about a deeper playoff run in 2025, maybe even a championship. The Fever are following the playbook of other teams who've made big changes after landing top draft picks. It's a bold move, but with talents like Clark and Boston, it might just pay off big time. The WNBA better brace itself. The Fever are coming, and they're not playing around anymore. This next season, it's going to be absolutely electric.